Hello, Living Dead Dolls fans. This is Josh, aka Doggiepants, and I'm coming at you by myself again to continue my series reviews. So, we are all the way up to series 14, and we're going to keep plugging away. Hopefully, I can get to as many as possible before the next series comes out. But when they do come out, I'll just review those and then hop back to wherever I was in the series reviews. So let's get started, shall we? I'm going to start by looking at their coffins, like I always do. Series 14. The coffins, they're black, no handles, pretty simple coffin. There is a little bit of the grain that we've seen that they've kind of brought in now. One cool thing, though, is that they do have blue tissue paper. All 5 dolls have the same color tissue paper. And then the chipboard is kind of interesting. It's got a photo negative of the doll right there on the left. And then we have what looks like maybe shattered glass in the background. It has the name of the doll and then also the poem. So, pretty nice. I always appreciate a different colored tissue paper. Like always, I'm going to start with my least favorite doll and go to my favorite. They're a pretty cool series, so I'm sure a lot of people will disagree. But I'm going to start with DK. DK is a pretty cool doll. She is, I think Dawn was really the first, like, this is a zombie. You know, I mean, they're all Living Dead dolls, so you can say they're all zombies, but Dawn was the first one. She really felt like the second time that they really kind of delved into the zombie thing. And she even feels like the Karen Cooper, is that her name, from Night of the Living Dead, kind of. The dress, really. But yeah, so this is DK. Let's start with her outfit. She has standard Living Dead doll Mary Jane shoes. She has white socks with a little bit of lace around them. Feels very, standard Living Dead dolls like. Then she has this dress. Now, this dress, which is kind of a blue plaid, it feels like it's a dress over top of what this little white sleeve shirt, but it is all one piece. But the way they constructed it is actually kind of odd and interesting, I guess. The blue part, this little blue part here, this section right here is stitched onto the sleeves. So it looks like they built the blue dress and the sleeves as one piece, and then they created the neck part of the shirt here. And once that was put on, they sewed it on the inside of this blue dress. So you could actually see that there's like a shirt underneath the blue dress, but it's actually all one piece. But I just thought it was so strange that they made the sleeves, the white sleeves, attached to the blue part. I don't know. Anyways, it's all one piece anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And you can't really tell that when you're looking at the doll. It looks really, really good, so don't be worried about that. I'm just pointing it out. So that's her outfit. Be aware, especially if you are a sealed coffin kind of person, you may want to take a look at this doll, and I've said this about a lot of them. A lot of times you're going to see that their little collars get bent up, and sometimes that drives people crazy. I've seen a couple of her that have that as well, so just be aware. At the bottom of the dress, too, there's a little bit of lace detail that goes all the way around. It's a pretty nice lace, actually. Yeah, there's an up-close shot of that. But that is her dress. Now, next up is her hair. Her hair is, it's a little on the thin side. Well, it's supposed to be thin, but right now, and I started mentioning it the last series, it's really kind of in the section of when the Living Dead doll's hair rooting got a little like, we could do better. This one, she was intentionally made to have thin hair, but even the parts where it was not supposed to be thin, it's thin. So if that makes sense, I'll try to show you. How they rooted her hair was they actually only rooted it to the top of the head. So it doesn't go down very far. And that was meant to make her hair look, very, very thin, like a zombie. Maybe her hair is falling out. But even the rooting up top, and let me see if I can kind of show you this. It's pretty thin, and you can get some bald spots if you don't place the hair correctly. So just be aware of that. I mean, when it's down, it looks kind of cool. It looks really thin and haunting, but it's not the best rooting. Her thing that is kind of famous for DK is they did this really crazy mouth with braces. So let me hold it up. That's all part of the mold. Like, the mold actually has the braces built in. They didn't just paint those onto her teeth. They're built into the mold, and her teeth like stick out of her mouth. They're really kind of scary. And I think that's why maybe she's not my favorite, because the whole face mold is a little kind of off-putting. But she's really cool, and she actually goes for a decent amount of money. So she's worth tracking down. Um, the other cool thing about her paint, I'm trying to remember if it's on her body or not, but it's not. She's got some great airbrushing detail. You see that around her face? We've got like on her brow, on her forehead here, around her eyes. It's really nicely done. She's looking up and she's got a little bit of kind of a bloodshot eye, but around the outside of the eye, it's interesting. It was like it was white, but then it was painted a little bit smoky. So her eyes are really kind of freaky looking. The only other detail that's worth mentioning is she does have black fingernail polish, and then her right hand is covered in blood, like she's been grabbing something. Yeah, but that's DK. Pretty simple doll, but pretty cool. Next up in the Series 14 review is Daisy Slay. Daisy Slay I thought was so interesting because I think it was back around Series 5 or so. They were doing an interview, the guys, Damien and Ed, were doing an interview for some magazine, and they made some sort of comment about how there would never be a hippie Living Dead doll. And then, like, a couple years later, Daisy Slay came out, and I was like, well, that's kind of a hippie doll. But, I don't know. I just thought that was kind of interesting. Daisy Slay's pretty cool. She's got this crazy outfit. Let me show you. I'm trying to make sure I understand everything about it before I talk about it. Yeah, okay. So, she's got this floor-length corduroy tan skirt. And I mean, that's an intense skirt that she's got going on. One nice thing about the skirt is the pockets are actual pockets. Like, I can't imagine you can really hold a lot of stuff in there, but it's definitely a pocket on both sides. It has a little bit of a flare out on the bottom compared to the top. I don't know if you can see that. The skirt is a separate piece from the shirt, and the skirt does have a Velcro section up the back. Because it's corduroy, it is a little bulky on her body. Let me pull up her arm so you can kind of see how bulky it is. But it's kind of cool. They've never made anything like it before. Then she has this really cute brown t-shirt with a little white flower, yellow center, and there's this skull right in the center of that flower. The shirt is a separate piece, like I said, and then it does Velcro all the way up the back, so you can take this shirt off. Her shoes are Mary Jane shoes, but they're brown. She's got kind of a standard white Living Dead doll sock. And that's her outfit. It's kind of like a nod to 60s hippie-ish kind of thing. One of the really cool things about Daisy Slay is she is a yarn-haired doll. The yarn hair on Daisy Slay is thicker than well, no, I guess Macumba had kind of similar hair. But here, I'll show you this up-close shot of it. So it's kind of this tan color, right? It's not super thickly rooted because it's yarn hair. It's kind of hard to root that without it getting out of control and being just huge. But sometimes she does have bald spots that show up, so you want to make sure that her hair is laying a certain way. Just be aware of that. One thing that people sometimes don't realize when they're looking at Daisy Slay is she has some green mold around the top of her hair. And that's not like mold on the doll that we've seen, like actual mold. It's just green paint. It's kind of really cool looking. I love that aspect of her. Her face is a rather simple Living Dead doll face. So we've got this brown, simple lip. She's got a little yellowish smudging around her eyes with a very simple eyebrow. And then the eye on the inside is white with a little black dot, and there's a little red around the inside of the eye. But it's got this kind of like spoked wheel green paint that comes off of it. So that is her face. She is not one of the more popular ones in Series 14. So if you are a big fan of Daisy Slay, she probably is not going to run you too much money on eBay. But yeah, oh, one last thing too. Daisy Slay has a nose ring. So she's a hip chick. So there it is right there. And that's an actual ring that goes into the doll. Yep, Daisy Slay. Next up, one of the dolls from the Resurrection set this year. That is Alison Crux. I really like Alison Crux, and when the images of the dolls first came out, I was all about Alison Crux. I was like, yep, that's my doll. That's the one that I'm going to love from this series. And then she came and I was like, yeah, she's cool, but like, it just wasn't exactly what I wanted her to be. And I'll get to that in just a second. She's got Mary Jane shoes, white socks. Then she has this really pretty dress, and it's kind of like a, I don't know, like a pinkish, almost rusty kind of color. But it's really nice. It's a really thin material, and it does have this pattern all over it. I'll hold it up so you can see that pattern. It's gathered at the waist here. The sleeve has a little bit of volume to it that comes off, and it does flare out a little bit around the arm. Is that elastic? Yeah, it is. So the sleeve that's pulling it in there, that is elastic, so you can kind of tug on it. She also has the same thing with the collar. Sometimes her collar is folded up. Oh, no, wait. I'm totally lying about that. I thought she had that issue, but she doesn't because those collars are actually tacked down. Never mind. Yeah, so her collar is actually pretty nice. One thing that most people don't see in the picture is she actually has a little tie in the back, and it just is material kind of comes out of a strange place on the dress. So the tie is sewn right under the arm there. You see that? So it just comes from there and it's tied in the back. This is all one piece and it does Velcro right at the back. That is her dress. She does have an accessory, kind of. There's two dolls that kind of have accessories, but not actual accessories. She's one of them. She has this key around her neck. And so the key, if you look closely, can I get her there? There we go. It has a little sulfur symbol right there. So it's a pretty cool little key. It definitely gives her a haunting feel. So she is a blue-colored doll, which I like that. Her skin tone is really interesting. One of the reasons that I loved her so much in the picture is actually because of her face paint. Her face paint's really, really good. She has a really like intense blackish bluish eye, and then she's got this like she's like arched eyebrows, like oh god, what happened? Going on, but she actually doesn't have any eyebrows, just the shadow of the eye. Simple black lip, but she's got some like black, dirty kind of staining all over her face, which is intentional. It's cool. I really do love the face paint of this doll. Where she gets a little lost for me is her hair. Again, I said this is not a big, a really good time for rooting, and she is no exception. The rooting in this doll, actually, this one's better than some of the Alison Crux I've had in the past, but it is so thin. Like you can see some bald spots right there. And I get it. It's because the hair is curly. It's the same kind of texture that we saw with Demonique. So it's that kind of curl, and you don't want to pull it apart too much, otherwise it'll just get bigger and bigger and be a bit of an afro. So her hair's a little hard to manage, especially keeping it in a place where everything on the top is not showing any bald spots. So I think it was the hair that kind of threw me off about her. I really wanted to love her so much, and I do. I really do like this doll, but the hair was an issue for me. But that is Alison Crux. Pretty cool, pretty sweet doll. Moving on. Fourth doll is Gregory. I love boy dolls. Gregory or Gregory or however you want to say it. Gregory. He is a little ventriloquist, right? So he is pretty freaking cool. Let's get to him. Oh, he still has a little rubber band on him that I didn't know about. I'm going to take that off real quick. He's got black, kind of the standard old Series 1 black Living Dead doll shoes. He does have white socks. And then he's wearing this cute little tuxedo. So the tuxedo is actually pretty nice. I'm going to open it up so you can get a good look at it. Here we go. So, I want to make sure I understand. Yeah, that's what I thought. So there's actually a lot of parts to this outfit. He's got the tuxedo pants, right? And there's a little bit of a glare so you can't see it. Then he's got this little gray cummerbund that you can't actually see when the jacket's closed, which I love. I think it's so cute. And then he has an actual, like, tuxedo white shirt So it has the like ruffles that you see on tuxedos, has a little white collar, and then he does have a little white bow tie as well. Now, when this is closed, you can't see the little gray cummerbund, which is a shame because it really is a nice cummerbund. And that cummerbund is actually a separate piece. You can take that off. The shirt, which is sleeveless, like it usually is when you see Living Dead dolls in suits. See, there's no sleeves. The shirt and the pants are all one piece and velcros up the back. The cummerbund is a separate piece that's put over top of it. And then the suit jacket, which is a suit with tails, so it does have tails all the way to the back. That's a separate piece as well. And he was made really, really well. I mean, this costume is intense. The coat is closed with two little snaps right there in the front. And then the collar of the jacket is actually a satin material, so it feels like a tuxedo jacket. It's really, really nice. Two little buttons are sewn to the front where the snaps are. So when he's put together, he looks really, really fancy. Now, the only other part of his outfit you're going to see is this gag that he has around his mouth, right? Because his ventriloquist dummy, I guess, maybe gagged him. This piece is glued to his face, so you cannot remove this. It goes into his mouth, it's glued, and then the gluing stops just right below the ear, and then it's tied around the back, just like tied like a shoelace, right? But you cannot remove that piece. I mean, you could, but there'd probably be residue of glue and things like that, and then you'd also lose that from him, so I would not recommend it. Yeah, I'm going to come to the dummy last. Let's just look at his hair. His hair is can be a bit of a frizzy mess sometimes, but you can kind of style it to get it into a pretty normal place. The hair rooting on him is not the best. There's some bald spots up top that you got to kind of fiddle with so that he's not, looking like he's got a big bald spot in the back of his head. He does have this kind of nice curl coming off of his forehead, though, that I do appreciate. His face is really, really nice. Again, some nice airbrushing. I love when they do the airbrushing detail. He's got a really cute brown arched eyebrow. He's looking down. He has pretty simple brown eyes, and that's pretty much it for his face paint, because he's just meant to look a little scared by whatever's going down. So then we come to this dummy, right? So this is his kind of accessory. It is super cute. Look at it. It's all one piece. There's no joints or anything, but it has the ventriloquist dummy, like little slits in his mouth. He's painted. He's got little red hair, little red freckles. He's pretty menacing looking, and he does have some airbrushing detail around his eyes as well. And the outfit is meant to look just like the outfit on Gregory. So this piece is it's like a plastic, like you can, I think just hearing that, you know exactly what kind of plastic it is. But what most people don't know is he pops off, right? So he actually has a hole right there in the back, and it's like a gouged out section as well that's bleeding. And what goes into that is this severed arm of Gregory's. It's so cool. When I found this out the first time, I was like, oh, really well done, Living Dead Dolls. Look at the way it's sculpted, right? So it's blood, it's got the bone, and look at the detail. It's got the two sections of the bone right there coming out. And it's like his arm has been gnawed off. And then that bone, that little section of the bone right there, is what sticks perfectly into the back of this hole. So you put it in there, and then you can hold up the doll. And you don't even notice it unless you're actually looking for it. So really well done. The design of this doll is fantastic, and I really struggled with whether or not he was going to be my favorite of the series, because he's clearly where a lot of the focus went design-wise, I think, because he's cool. I mean, yeah, he's simple. His face paint's simple. He's a rather simple boy doll. But the outfit's slamming, and the dummy and the severed arm, awesome. Really, really cool. But that is Gregory. Definitely get him if you can. And then last, obviously, of the series, my favorite, and I know that this may be a little controversial and some people will be like, why? But I just think she's cool. She's one of those dolls that has always stayed in my collection. I think it's the weird kind of, I don't know, Winona Ryder-esque feel. Like maybe it's the 1990s that I grew up in. I'm just drawn to her kind of grungy feel. I love it. Yeah, but anyway, so this is Jasper. Jasper has black Living Dead doll boots, right? And then she's wearing black tights that go all the way up to her belly. The tights are kind of a different material than tights normally are. They feel a little bit more like not nylon-y, but it's definitely a different kind of fabric than we've seen. It's not a cotton, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It feels like it has a little more stretch to it. So that is her tights underneath everything, right? Then we've got this little green. Oh, actually, let me do the sweater first, and then I'll show you the skirt. So the sweater is the same sweater that we saw on Wolfgang. Um, Wolfgang is first, right? Yeah, he's series 9. Oh, my brain. Yeah, so it's the same exact design of the big knit ridiculous sweater, right? That has got the giant collar around the sleeves. It's brought up a little bit. It's clearly oversized on her. And there's some like cool patterns in it. It's black, so it's probably not gonna be able to be seen on this video very well. But it is all one piece, and the whole thing does Velcro up the back, so you can take it completely off, which I'm going to do right now, just so you can get a better look at the little green skirt. This little green skirt is actually kind of a high green skirt. You know, it doesn't just end right here. It goes up a little bit further. And when I first pulled it out, I thought it was like this cute little dress, which I guess it could be. That might have been the intention then, but I don't think so. It's just a little too short for that. I think they just kind of brought the skirt up a little bit higher to hide it underneath the sweater a little bit better. But it's a pretty simple green kind of khaki skirt. There's no pockets like there is on Daisy Slay, but it does have a little bit of stitching around the front, so you can definitely see where the front of the skirt is. It's all one piece, and it is sewn right there, or not sewn, Velcro right there up the back. I'm going to put her sweater back on so she's not so naked for the rest of this video. Yeah, that is her outfit. Again, I just love it. She feels so like Reality Bites. I can't take it. It's everything. Yeah, that is her outfit. Then we'll go to her hair. Her hair is very thinly rooted, but she does have her hair in pigtails, so I always like let that slide, because how they do it is they root it around the center here, and they root it around the edge, so that it's just pulled here. They don't have to worry about a lot of hair coming out in these pigtails. So it actually makes her look a little more correct. Otherwise, the pigtails would be so thick it'd be ridiculous. But her pigtails are really, really simple, really, really cute. Her pigtails are held together by just little plastic rubber bands, kind of the standard little rubber bands that we see on a lot of Living Dead dolls. There's no ribbon going around them or anything. And then she's got bangs that are really cute, right? So they're bangs, and then they taper off all the way to the side right there. So they do get a little bit smaller. The bangs go pretty far around her head. And then she has these little hangy wisps that kind of give her this almost maybe like Japanese feel to her. But yeah, so those are the little wisps that come down on the side. Her face paint is not my favorite face paint of the series, but I still like it. Here, I'm going to hold it up so you can get a good look at her. She's got black lips. She's got a weird, like, wavy eyebrow. Sometimes people don't realize that about her. She's got green smudging that's right around the edge of her mouth and also all around her eye. It's really faint, and it feels almost like mold or something like that. Her eyes are bloodshot with a really simple black eyelash. And then the actual pupil of her eye is... it's got a red on the outside, and then it gets like orangey to yellow. So it kind of fades in. But that is her face paint. And that is Jasper. She is my favorite doll of the series, but a lot of people may disagree. She's one of those dolls that I always keep. I don't know why. Yeah, but that's Jasper. Let me pull up all the dolls. That's it. That's Series 5. Or Series 5. That's all 5 of Series 14. Yeah, so there we go. Series 14, y'all. This was not my favorite series, but it's definitely a very solid series. People do like this series. Some of them go for a lot of money. Alison tends to, DK tends to. Actually, I mean, anything. It's hard to find these dolls anymore for under like 30, 40 bucks. So, you know, whatever. Yeah, but there's not many accessories for this series, which is a bit of a bummer. But yeah, this is them. Series 14. Yeah, so that's it. Thanks so much for watching. I will get back and do Series 15 as soon as I can. And then hopefully, because we're coming up on May now, Series 29 is supposed to come out in May. So hopefully we'll get those pretty soon as well. that is it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will talk to you later. Bye.
Oh.